This one here is the 1998 Peterbilt. We bought this one about 3-4 years ago from Elder Yeager. It was in his back 40 of the junkyard there. And he told me, he said, why don't you just get rid of that thing for me? I said, why is that, Ellie? He said, it got a Detroit in it. I don't like it. And it was really, we called it tattered and chrome when we finally got it roadworthy and stuff. We didn't paint it at that time.
But it ran when you bought it, right? Or not?
It started and it drove the 30 miles home.
Okay.
But
it moved.
It moved, yes. It's got a new Recon motor in it, 12.7 Detroit. It's got a 13-speed in it. It's got a great powertrain. Since we've had it all together, this truck will run by every repair shop day and night. Doesn't have a problem in the world.
Did you have to paint it, I assume?
We eventually painted it, and then it lost its nickname of tattered and chrome because the old tattered paint job was so bad. But a buddy of mine got it in, so he got a new paint job.
Where did Eldon get it? How did he end up with it?
I don't know the whole story because he's got so many different trucks and so many stories.
Who knows which ones are true?
Yeah, this truck here, I believe, probably pulled a dump trailer or something that didn't have any mud flaps or guards, and it looked like it just threw stones at the back of the cab all day long. We didn't fix them. That's part of the character of the truck.
Oh, yeah, you can see them through the paint there.
Yep. We did add on the carrier's APU to this truck because the last thing we want to do is be sitting idle in the truck. So we bought that one new for it. And we put that on with the ugly old paint job. And I know that shop putting it on there thought, that truck ain't worth what the cost of this APU is. But look at it now.
Does it work now?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that was a brand new one we put on. But
does the truck work now? I mean,
oh, the truck works every day. Matter of fact, Don Mooney, the driver for this truck, he finished on a load over in Sterling, came through, running through the truck wash and parked here. He missed the show competition, but we don't really expect any trophies because we're not the show fancy. But this works all the time. Don, I guess not all the time. Don's son is semi-retired about 3 days a week.
And what do you haul?
Typically, Hormel's the big customer for us. We're dry freight and refrigerated. I've always hung with swinging doors. I worked at Pape Transfer many years ago. They put me on a flatbed as a punishment with size, and I didn't realize that you shouldn't just throw the tarp up front when you don't need it, fold it up like I did. And halfway back to Dubuque, I guess I lost a tarp when it just blew up and something like that. The road shop saved it for us and called Pape. I was in a lot of trouble for that. They were going to leave me on it for another week. I said, are you sure you want to do that? I got back to swinging doors.
Yeah.
But this particular moose guard is built in Canada. And the company's called Walcott up there. And our mechanic guy did a lot of research on the different ones, and he really come up with it. He likes these. So we put it on all of our trucks except our cab over. I have an ambulance service, and we have them on all of our trucks. And we have never done any more than one of them broke a headlight.
You've never hit a moose in Iowa? Surprise, surprise.
Or the little brothers to Bambi.
Yes.
This one here hit a deer that was about this high on it. It bent this back a little bit. Our shop was able just to straighten it out. Walcott was going to send me a part to cut that out and put it in. But we're like, that's a lot of fine-tuned welding. We're going to leave it there for character.
Right.
Just been a great company to work with and getting them.
To tilt the hood?
Yep, I'm just going to show you. They did an update in the last year or so. It used to have 2 screws to do it, which kind of made it a pain to check the oil all the time, and that's important to do. So the upgrade they did is you just reach up and grab a hold of it, step on that foot release.
Well, that's handy.
And you bring it on down. You set it down there, and you leave it there for these young little lads to come along, and they want to do some weightlifting. We just put them to it, and you don't need no dumbbells.
So as long as the deer doesn't hit that lever.
Yep, we ain't had one. I think that one was trying for it. They got the bottom, but he missed. Then we just raise her back up, and she's locked, ready to go.
Wow.
Yep, it's just been great. I recommend them completely. Again, everything we hit with that great big one, no radiator problem, perfect. So, And especially with that foot release, that just made the show for me.
Yeah, that makes life easier. So if
Yep.
this was in the junkyard, I'm guessing the interior's all done redone too.
No, it has. This is all original. That's how it was. Of course, it's cleaned up. It's got the same carpet, although it was matted and something else. But of course, it was junkyard bound or in there already. We just did a lot of deep cleaning into it. Go right ahead in and take a look. Of course, it gets a fancy wooden steering wheel. We did add that. One of these days, maybe I'll get one for my cab over.
That's nice.
Don't even have a refrigerator in it.
What the cab over does.
Yeah, but it's not bad for not touching it. If Peterbilt would have done a better job of selling to me when I was buying all the trucks, we had 50 plus trucks in the late 90s. If they'd have done a good job of selling me how well these are to work on and to fix things, we'd have bought a lot more of them. But we're pretty dedicated at that time to Freightliner.
Did you start the company?
I did. 82 was the first truck that I bought. It was leased on to Pape Transfer, then Raleigh Interstate later, and then I got my own authority, and we continued to grow from there. That's 42 years. As a young kid, all I can remember is I wanted to drive a truck. If I do anything, I want to be a truck driver. Talking to somebody here about a week ago who knew somebody that worked with me at age 18 at a factory type of a job, and they remembered me, and all they remembered is how much I talked about. I just want to be a truck driver. I'm just here for a little bit. And I managed to save up $5,000, put it in the bank, and then I came across the farmer with the truck that wanted to sell it because the son didn't want to do it because it was a lot of work. And they took my $5,000 deposit. They charged me 27% interest at the bank. The farmer co-signed for me, and that gave me credit.
And how old were you?
I was 20 years old when I bought my first truck. That was an 80 cab over K100 single bunk.
What jobs did you do to get the 5,000?
I worked at SciCare System as I ran an inserter that would stuff and mail return envelopes and statements and lick them and stick them and stamp them and send them to the post office. Medical bills over and over and over and over. That was the closest I ever got to a factory job. My dad worked 35 years at Flex Steel Factory. I don't know how you could sit there and do one job. I couldn't do it. It's my ADHD kicks in. I guess I'm a poster child, but nobody ever diagnosed me with it until I was an adult. I always called it type AAA personality. Make things happen. Don't sit around and wait because there's no handouts. Nobody's going to give you anything. You got to work for it.
And now managing a trucking company, every day is different. Never know.
Every day is different. And uniquely enough, with I've got 42 years of the trucking and many years before being old enough, riding along and learning to drive. 21 years ago, I started an ambulance service. So
you started the ambulance.
I started.
Wow.
I became an EMT as we sold off a big portion of our trucking company, had it down to a few trucks, and then we started Paramount Ambulance. I became a paramedic a year later, and 21 years strong.
You sound like the person that wants to be in the ambulance or be in the truck.
I want to be right there.
So do you have other people who help manage everything for you so you get to do the fun stuff?
Yep.
Okay, smart man.
My wife keeps telling me how much she wants to retire. I keep trying to figure out how. I told her, I says, you can retire anytime you want to as long as you can do your work from home. You can do the work from home. She said, you're not getting it. That's not what I meant.
I want to be done. And you're like, but I want to keep trucking.
Yeah. The character we put on all of our trucks. To keep on trucking. Years back, I remember it in my childhood. Well, that's pretty cool. I'll slide up here and get a picture for you. Keep on trucking.